Thanks for downloading a 3CR podcast. 3CR is an independent community radio station based in Melbourne, Australia. We need your financial support to keep going. Go to www.3cr.org.au for more information and to donate online. Now stay tuned for your 3CR podcast.
Sabah al-Khair, good morning dear listeners. You're listening to Radio 3CR on 855 AM and Palestine Remembered with Robert Martin, Nasser Mashni and Yusuf Ahmed al-Rimawi.
Palestine Remembered is Australia's only English-language radio program that is totally dedicated to Palestine. We'd like to welcome those listening on 855 and those that will join us on podcast at 3cr.org.au.
Thanks for joining us. Stay with us and enjoy the episode.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Nasser and
Yusuf,
Robert.
Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
So, full house today?
We do. It's been a while. It's fantastic.
A full crew, and we've got an exciting guest to speak to, as well as a recap of the Palestine Film Festival, Yusuf.
So, tell us about our guest, Nasser.
So, our first guest is Mr. Philip Sacca, who is a volunteer with Moira Kelly's Creating Hope Foundation. Mm-hmm. He's also a director of the Global Gardens of Peace in Khan Yunis, and is the Public Relations Officer for the Bet Jella Palestine Association. And stay tuned to the end of the show to hear about the exciting month of activities for Palestine in November.
So stay with us for our interview with Mr. Philip Sacca.
And we're very proud to be joined by Philip Sacca, who's just returned from Gaza. Welcome, Philip.
Thank you, and nice, and appreciate your opportunity to give me the opportunity to talk to you.
Well, Philip, you've just come back from Gaza. Tell us about Gaza. What did you see? How is it?
I thought I might tell you that since 2000, I have been dealing with Miss Moira Kelly, and we went the first time 2004, and we went several times. We start to pick up sick children and deal with them in Melbourne and retaining them, and also send doctors. The last trip was 3 years ago. We pick up a young girl, Shahid al-Fahimi. She born in very complicated sickness without skin. We brought her 3 years ago with the help of the Foreign Affairs, our affairs, and we dealt with her. In the last 3 years, we've done 3 or 4 operations, and briefly, she born with as piece of meat, and the sickness is very complicated, and because they were not taking care of her situation in the first 5 years of her life, all bones in her toes and fingers, they were melt, and the bone become joined to each other. Her eyes, they were hidden a little bit, and her ears. Then she went through 3 operations in the last 3 years. The surgeon, I went a couple of times as interpreter, and more or less we cut the meat. Let us talk brutally, like the meat between their fingers and her fingers and toes, and start to recover the movement of her toes and fingers. The story of that girl, that her father was shot by the Israelis, and she born after his death in a few months, and her mother disappeared. She was stressed by the situation, and her home was demolished also. Then her mom took care of her. There are a lot of highlights of our trip in both ways, but to make it very clear, thanks to our Australian government, the Foreign Affairs, they helped us 3 years ago to pick her up from Gaza because as Gaza people, they are not allowed even to step in the land of Palestine. 1948. Then kindly the consul and the foreign affairs officer 3 years ago, they took her and they take care of her around 11 hours because we had meeting in Jerusalem. Then we flew from Lod Airport, Ben Gurion Airport, to Amman, and Amman, Dubai, Melbourne. That trip we went through, it was a little bit more complicated. September was full of festivities for the Jewish. Then somehow we lost the flights to Lod Airport. Then we went Dubai, Amman. Amman, we crossed the bridge, and the embassy came to the bridge. They picked up us from the bridge to Aires, Beit Hanun crossing. The highlight of all our trip, that the Emirates, they were very helpful. We went with a lot of medicine for that young girl. And on the bridge and the airport of Amman, they help us hugely because still the Gaza people, they have to be registered. The manager of the airport explained to him what we need to do, as this girl needs to be washed thoroughly and being giving ointment 3 times a day. It looks like she produced skin in 1 hour, like three weeks for normal person. And when I accompany her in our way here, she was telling me to cut her hair. She always crash his body. And she was sitting next to me on the aeroplane when we were going to the long trip, and I can see her scratching her back in the seat. We have to give her shower in Dubai with help of the airport, even with 1.5 hour limit to board on the second flight. They took us from the airplane, forklift like bus, forklift. They took us to the shower. They were so helpful, and boarding. They helped us with everything. And when we arrived in Amman, again, the manager of the airport helped us. At the bridge too, I must highlight the kindness and help that they get from the Jordanian. And the people who work on at the bridge, usually they get stuck with you to pay them tip and all of this. They say, go with God, you are doing a marvelous job. Let us share the work with you.
That's fantastic, Philip. So that's great that you were able to return this young girl back to her home. Can you tell us, did her mother meet her? Who met her when you went back to Gaza?
Okay, there are a lot of sensitive issues here, but I'll say it very well, very clear. The mother somehow disappeared, okay? Mm-hmm. Then her grandmother, she lives in Beit Hanun. As we enter the Arab side, let us call it the first section of Beit Hanun, the people receive us there, and the authority, they receive us on both sides. We have Hamas, unfortunately we have PI, the Palestinian Authority, and Hamas. And both sides, they were very helpful. Moira was crying immensely. When we went home, all Beit Hanun, they were there. And it was incredible encounter. They spent the other night with celebration. Moira succeeded to train her here in Melbourne and Brunswick to wash herself and deal with herself. And she proved to her families, a grandmother who became her mom. He took her to the shower in different sections, the ladies, and she proven that Shahid can look after herself. We provided additional support on top of the medicine. We found a chemist there where we can send them the money directly and buy more medicine, ointment, and they mix the bleach and other material.
So you basically saved this girl's life. Without you guys, she would be probably dead at this stage.
Absolutely.
Tell us, what else do you see in Gaza? Is it a common scene to see this? What is the landscape like? What are the children like? What else do you see there as a foreigner, as a person going into Gaza?
To complete how we found her, there is a volunteer called Anos. He suffered of diabetes, and he devoted his life to help others himself. He put her in the Facebook. When it comes to what we seen and what we witnessed in our visit, we found people are very, very strong, and they don't care about their suffering. You don't feel that they are suffering. They are conducting themselves in the most natural way. And on Thursday, we have to leave on Thursday, not to stay on Friday. We have another march with throw of gas. They kill one of those protesters. We were in the taxi, and he said, no, they killed one yesterday. They don't care about killing and resistance. I can assure you they are so generous, so engaged with the visitors, and they treat you
like the king.
Like a king. Yeah. And the way that they receive us, you don't forget. You do not feel that they are in country under occupation. They don't express their suffering. It is natural. When they attack, and it's natural. They say that's our life, and we cope with it.
That's the wonderful thing about the Gazans. Their steadfastness. Samud is fantastic.
I can tell you something very, very important. Very, very important. That
we've got 1 minute left, Philip. So please.
Okay. We tell you that the people of Gaza, they cannot go for lot of depth and fishing. Then the kids they sell you crab. They sell you a box of crab around $3. They catch fish and a crab close to the beach. I admire our people in Gaza, and they stand strongly against any occupation, and they resist, and they believe that one day they'll go to their own villages on the north of Gaza and their own
into
villages.
Palestine, inshallah. Now, Philip, in 30 seconds, can you give us a quick update on the Global Gardens of Peace in Khan Yunis? 30 seconds.
30 seconds, yes. We since years, we devoted to build a garden in Gaza, and it is 32,000 square meter. It will cost $6.5 million. We found some difficulty to finance this, which we'll do, but now we start to build small gardens with the cost around $60,000 or $65,000 in the north and the south side of Gaza, and the Khan Yunis municipality stood behind us, and we hope that we'll start very sooner than later in the first Amal garden in South Gaza in Amal, which belongs to Khan Yunis.
Fantastic. Thanks, Philip Sacca. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome home.
Great to be with you, and thank you for having me.
That was a great interview, Nasser.
Yeah, it was great, particularly because Philippe just came back from Gaza. Maybe we'll get him back on and to talk specifically about his experience within Gaza and the challenges there.
Of course, we do injustice if we want to cover everything he has seen or did for the last, let's say, more than 10 years in less than 10 minutes. So we will definitely be back to this great initiative in future episodes. But I want to talk about the film festival, Nasser and Robert.
Well, fantastically, the Palestine Film Festival now national. It's the biggest Palestine film festival in the world.
In terms of the number of cities.
In terms of the number of cities. So
that's amazing.
So we've gone Sydney, Hobart, Melbourne, currently in Brisbane, then to Canberra, Perth and Adelaide. So 7 cities around Australia. So it's truly a national film festival.
I want to congratulate Nasser Shakhtour and the other volunteers and organizers for putting together such an amazing project for more than
a decade now.
More than a decade. So well done. And Robert, you ended up watching the first movie. You were just giving me a lift.
Well,
so
yeah,
that
I was going to
good.
drop you off, and I ended up getting a ticket, and I'm actually really happy I did, because the film was fantastic. It showed...
Well, the movie was sold out, Robert.
Yes.
You used your celebrity
Yeah,
status.
we managed to smuggle him in.
Yeah, it's sold out event, no tickets, but there were a few seats left. I could have sat
it pays off if you are nice to me.
100%. Thank you very much, Yusuf, for that,
Yes,
because I got the VIP treatment to get you in because you had your press card. But the movie I thought was fabulous. The
Yes.
movie was fantastic.
And we're talking about the Wajib movie.
Wajib.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it showed the horrific crimes that Israel has put on the Palestinians, but it was in a very delicate way, but it showed the real life of the Palestinians, which we couldn't imagine, and we couldn't possibly live like that. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, it expressed the subtly the excruciating pain of being a Palestinian within inside 48. And
The space of the movie is Nazareth.
Nazareth.
That's
it's a Christian family, and we won't spoil the plot too much because, excitingly, this movie is being released on commercially. So it's outside of the film festival. It's going to be released in Australia. So if you missed it, you'll be able to catch it in commercial cinemas. But it's a father and son, and they're spreading around invitations to the daughter/sister's upcoming
There's
wedding.
a lot of them too. There's a lot of delivering.
A lot of delivering. But the conversation is between the dad and the son, who happen to actually be father and son in real life as well.
In real life.
And just the challenges that their life has suffered because of the establishment of the State of Israel, and how that's manifested itself into every facet of their lives. From pets through to
and even
education.
services, municipal services. One of the things that the movie highlighted is the big gap in terms of municipal services between an Arab neighborhood and the Jewish neighborhood of Nazareth.
Yeah.
And you would think that these are all citizens of the State of Israel, but if you go and have an inside story, you will see the big gap in everything.
No equality of service, no equality of road structure, no equality of civil
Access of
infrastructure.
employment.
And there was one section there where the father and the son were arguing, and I think it was amazing how it enlightened exactly what was going on, and the son didn't always know what the father was hiding, but it was absolutely
what the father was protecting the son
protecting
from.
the son. Yeah.
Yeah.
So very, very.
So let's not
powerful.
spoil it too much.
No, I won't indeed. But if Yusuf, you can get me some more press cards, that would be fantastic.
Also, I want to speak a little bit about Muhammad Bakri, the film maker and the main character in the movie. Muhammad Bakri is a Palestinian actor, but more than an actor, he is a man of principle, because despite the pressure of the Jenin or reoccupation in 2002 and what Israel did back then, he insisted in creating a very powerful film on the massacre of Jenin camp. And because of that, the Israeli civil society and the Israeli government tried to fine him for inciting violence, and there was something like 600,000 shekels in total of fines that he was asked to pay for inciting violence, for simply showing the story of Jenin. And Jenin is... Jenin, I mean, how can we explain what happened in Jenin, Nasser, in less than
a massacre, and everybody wants to go see it. You know, the Israelis went in there with bulldozers and pushed houses on the top of people. They, shot innocents in cold blood. The reality is they went in for an operation, encountered very stiff resistance. And for those that know Palestine and know Palestinian resistance, Jenin is, termed the lion's lair. Real men are born in Jenin. Yeah, real men are born in Jenin, and what they were expecting, they didn't get, and what they got, they ate, and then they made Jenin pay.
And the movie was called Jenin. So it was great to watch another movie, so we will not spoil the movie, but there was also a very important documentary screened last Saturday, Nasser.
So I saw on Saturday night, 1948, Creation and Catastrophe, and one of the co-directors was with us, and she's an Palestinian-American director, an academic.
Ahlam al-Muhtasib.
Yeah, and she gave a Q&A afterwards. But this was a brilliant Palestine 101 movie, and what made it so particularly good was, aside from the stories of Nakba survivors, there was Irgun, Stern, Haganah, regulars who are now obviously in their 70s and 80s, and they spoke about their experience of Nakba. And from a Polish Holocaust survivor talking about the pain she felt in what only years ago, this was happening to me and now I'm doing it to somebody else, through to someone who now, 71 years later, unapologetically, of course we had to do it, we had to kill them, we had to drive them out, there's no place for them here, this is our home now, and I'd do it again. So the complete spectrum from a Jewish Israeli side, but then the stories of the Palestinian survivors of Nakba, but also then through documentation, Benny Morris, Ilan Pape and other academics speak to it. So look, a really brilliant 101, and I look forward to its commercial release. At the moment it's just an academic movie that's currently held, but they're going to be releasing it. Hanam spoke about making it a widely used resource, whether it's an online thing or via YouTube or CD. So we're looking forward to that. And as soon as we get details, we'll tell all our listeners where they can buy a copy.
Next, we have some exclusive interviews that Yusuf had at the Palestine Film Festival. No other reporters allowed, so this is an exclusive to 3TR. Enjoy.
I'm now next to Jessica Morrison, one of our voices in Australia, and I would like to welcome you on the show.
Shukran, Yusuf.
What do you think of the movie?
I thought it was an amazing movie. I thought in lots of ways it was a universal movie about the generational differences and how arrogant we are as young people. But also it's been, for me as a white Australian, it's been really interesting looking at Palestine through the eyes of a European Palestinian or somebody who's been living in Europe, and what that must challenge in terms of lots of the traditional stuff and kind of the European culture, how it was challenging. But I loved it. I looked at the opening things and I was like, oh, that's Bethlehem. That's Hannah, who I stayed with. And then I was like, oh, no.
I recognize some people.
Yeah, did you? No, I thought I did. But I thought there were lots of beautiful Palestinian things about it, and lots of things like I could taste the cardamom kind of in the coffee that I don't like at all.
Okay. Is this the first Palestinian movie you watched?
Oh no, I've seen lots of different Palestinian movies. I've got lots of different favourite ones. I often really like the political one. And what was really interesting about this is the politics sat all around it.
Yes.
But actually it was the love of families that it was about, and everybody struggling together in the politics. So it was kind of like, it was a very different film because it wasn't about politics, but of course politics is part of everything.
Finally, is there a message you want to say to the people in Palestine who are listening to you?
Stay strong. You inspire so many of us to stand in solidarity with your struggle. We are inspired by your love and your laughter and your passion, and we look forward to standing with you on a free Palestine one day.
Shukran, Jessica Morrison. Thank you.
Shukran.
It's a pleasure to be next to Senator Janet Rice from the Green, who opened the night. Thank you, Janet, for coming today.
That was my absolute pleasure to be here, and what an amazing film I've just watched. It was just this incredible... it was such a wonderful discussion, or not a discussion, just a story that showed the complexities of life in Palestine. And yes, and family and politics and the old and the new and tradition and breaking away from tradition, and told with such humour and grace. It'll stay with me.
I know that you were part of a delegation to Palestine last year. We'll talk about that thoroughly in another interview. But I want to stay in the film context. I want to ask you, why did you accept the invitation to come and open the night or the movie festival tonight?
Because I'm passionate about justice for Palestinians. I mean, as an Australian, I know my life is just so good, and I've got so much privilege here of living peacefully, with good health, with, basically everything that you could possibly want. And I know that there are so many people in the world that don't share that privilege. And I've known about the plight of Palestinians for a long time, and the massive injustice that's been done for over 70 years. And so but I've known about it, and then I visited Palestine last year, and I thought that I knew quite a lot, but I knew that I knew next to nothing, and I learnt a huge amount in the 2 weeks that we were there, and it just reignited in me my passion and what I could do now as a parliamentarian to help work for justice for Palestinians, and how important it is that Australians know what's going on in Palestine. Because, I mean, Australia is, in the world, next to the US, the very best friend of Israel, and Australians need to know that what is happening in Palestine is just wrong. It is just wrong, and it is just such sheer injustice. And we need to change the position that Australia has, so that Australia is much more supportive of justice for Palestinian people.
It's voices like you that will change that. I'm not going to hold you longer. I want to end this interview with you with a message to the people in Palestine who are listening to you now.
Look, stay strong and know that there are people that care about you all around the world, and that we will keep on fighting for justice. And, you have to keep on having hope, having optimism, and know that we are working together to achieve better outcomes than you are currently now experiencing.
And that was Senator Janet Rice, Greens member for Victoria. Wonderful interviews there, Yusuf. Now,
thank you.
Very exciting. We're always very excited coming into November, because November is action-packed for Palestine. So as we know, what has become an institution now, on the 15th of November, we've got Flag Day on Palestine National Day at the Federation Square at 5:30pm, 15th of November. So if people want to find out more details, they can go to apan.org.au. 15th of November at 5:30pm, Flag Day. And following that day, on the 18th of November at 10am, Tom's Block at the Tan, we've got the Run for Palestine. So if you go to runforpalestine.com.au, and excitingly this year we've got Perth, we've got Adelaide, Melbourne, Canberra and Sydney. So 5 cities.
On the same day.
On the same day at
Fantastic.
10am.
And this year is for the
7th year, Yusuf.
The 7th year.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
So since 2012. But the first year for Canberra, second year for Sydney, third for Perth, third for Adelaide, second for Perth.
Now, those who want to participate or take part in the Run for Palestine, where do they go for information?
Yep. So they just head to runforpalestine.com.au, runforpalestine.com.au, and from there they can choose their city, and then they can either donate, they can walk or run. And they can create a sponsored page and raise vital funds for Olive Kids, the Australian Foundation for Palestinian Children. So we're very excited about that nationally to raise money.
It's a fantastic family day. So if you can't run, you can't walk, you should still go and be part of the festivities.
Absolutely. Face painting, and there's a petting zoo and lots of fun stuff on Sunday the 18th of November. And then on the 22nd, Yusuf.
On the coming Thursday, there is a forum to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the passing of Mahmoud Darwish, our national poet.
And on the panel? Who's on the panel that
I
week?
might be the one who will be speaking about the legacy of Mahmoud Darwish.
Fantastic.
Of course, there will be poetry recitals, there will be music, and this is a project under Averroes Center of Arab Culture. So there will be more details in future episodes on where exactly, but it will be in the area of the city of Durban. So more information on that. Also, on the 29th of November, on the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people, we have something new, Nasser.
Yep, the inaugural Jerusalem Al-Quds Peace Prize, which is being held at Queen's Hall at the Victorian State Parliament. And we're very excited that we'll be presenting that to Professor Stuart Rees, who'll be receiving the very first Jerusalem Al-Quds Peace Prize. 7pm at the Queen's Hall, Victorian State Parliament. JerusalemPeacePrize.com for those that want to buy tickets. Tickets are selling fast. We've sold already over half of them. So if you're interested in going, certainly we'd tell you to go on there and get your tickets soon. Early bird tickets finish tomorrow, so on Monday. So please hurry along and get those.
That sounds like a busy calendar ahead of us with the Flag Day, with the Run for Palestine, with the memorial of Mahmoud Darwish, and with the inauguration of Jerusalem Al-Quds Peace Prize.
And with that, another show comes to an end. So thank you again, Robert, Yusuf, Ahmed Al-Rumawi.
Thank you, Robert, Ahmed Martin.
And we'll see you all next week.
Fantastic.